You are on the spectrum. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the key to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Our five senses utilize energy, frequency, and vibration to make sense of the world that we can see, but also beyond what we can see. We as human beings have cultivated and created technology that allows us to go beyond what past humans were ever able to experience. Past humans were able to understand visible light and sound, and they were able to touch and feel emotions, but they were never able to measure beyond it. Now we, with all of our technology and fancy gizmos and gadgets, are able to see into the electromagnetic scales. We can see into gamma rays, which are used to treat cancer. We can see X-rays, which are used to be able to see through physical matter. Ultraviolet is beyond what the eye can see. Infrared, we can see temperature. Microwaves, we use to heat our food, and radio waves fly through our skies and hit our phones, hit our car stereos, carrying all of these beautiful frequencies. We have been able to master our reality based on our understanding of these spectrums. And what we must understand is these spectrums bleed into one another. So we see here at the top, we have visible light. The visible light spectrum starts at red and goes all the way up to purple. We see we have 7 colors. We have 7 colors. We have 7 musical notes. We have 7 chakras. We have 7 wonders of the world, 7 seas, 7 continents. There is a symbolism behind the number 7. God created the world in 7 days. So as we begin to lean into 7, we begin to lean into the idea of spectrums. We can see that the visible light spectrum bleeds into the ultraviolet. Why is it called ultraviolet? Violet, purple, right? It's where the fall off of the visible light reaches into the non-visible light, into the electromagnetic spectrum. That's why you see, say you go paintballing as a kid and they're shining the purple lights, it's dark and everything's glow in the dark. The ultraviolet light lights up beyond what we can see. So there you have the example of how this visible light spectrum bleeds in to what we can't see. So there are all of these frequencies, all of these vibrations that we sense and we perceive as human beings. These words that come out of my mouth go into a camera, are processed, and now they're coming out of your speakers. It's a vibration that we're able to harness, that we're able to capture and redistribute within the world. We've been able to so successfully do that with music, and humans have done that with music since the beginning of time. As we began to piece together the world, we began to piece together the world in the form of art. And specifically, humans have been able to piece together the world with art using color and using sound. And sound is such a powerful tool for piecing together reality because it is symbolic and it shows us the significance of these spectrums. So for example, if I step behind over here to my piano and I play, so you hear the C major scale. So you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Around we go. And now what I hit at the end there, this is the C, this is middle C, but this is also C. Now this is the octave. This is where purple meets red once again. This is where we went all the way around, which goes on for infinity. You see here, the piano is symbolic of how all of these frequencies work in our universe. So we have this visible light spectrum that we perceive, but this spectrum goes beyond, into the ultraviolet, into the X-ray, into the gamma ray, and up and up and up and up and up. Vibration increases forever, but also slows down forever. The music is so powerful because it corresponds with the different emotions that we feel. You can create and you can harness these vibrations to allow us to feel different emotions. So if I play a C major chord here, I'm playing C, E, G. C, E, G, it sounds pleasant. It sounds perfect, 1, 3, 5. It sounds very harmonious. And as symbolically, in our visible light spectrum, you have red here, green, and blue. Those are the 1, 3, 5 of our visible light spectrum, right? So symbolically, RGB is how we piece together white light. When you take white light, you can extract RGB. That's perfect light. When you play a perfect chord in perfect 1, 3, 5, you are receiving a beautiful resonant tone. Now, if, for example, I was to play the 1 and the 7, if I was to play C and B, it's going to be dissonant because you are creating this dissonance because the relations are not harmonious. We as human beings have the understanding of, oh, that sounds good or that doesn't sound good, that looks good, that doesn't look good, but we don't often think about why. Why does something sound good? Why does it look good? And it's because this universe operates within an order. There's an order to creation that we as creators can create within. So we can utilize this knowledge of these frequencies to create not only beautiful artwork with the different colors and beautiful drawings and beautiful paintings, but we can utilize that knowledge to create beautiful music and beautiful symphonies. We can utilize that knowledge as it's manifest in the chakras to harmonize ourselves with our emotions, to harmonize ourselves with our being. We did not dive into these different chakras yet and how the visible light spectrum, the musical notes, and the chakras all correspond. Ooh, excuse me. They all correspond. Now, we see, as you see a human being laid out, if you see in a spiritual photo of a human being where they showcase the chakras, right? For example, and you see it starts at red. Red is the most physical. This is where the vibration is super wide, right? Think about it like this. The higher the vibration, the less physical it is. The more something is vibrating, the less physical it becomes. The less it vibrates, the more physical it is. So when you take that principle from red, red is the most physical color. Why do they put it on fast food chains? Why do they put it on stop signs? It alerts us to come back to physical reality. That's why it's important. And then when we go back to ultraviolet light and the color purple, purple is what goes on beyond what we can see. Purple is the bridge to the heavens. This is the heavens. This is the earth, right? So when we understand that red is physical, we can also understand that the root chakra, red, corresponds with physical reality, our beingness, our I amness, our attachment to the physical world. And we can work our way up. And why is purple all the way at the top? Corresponding with the heavens, corresponding at our crown chakra with higher consciousness, right? This is why, is because the vibrations associated with these chakras, these wheels of energy, there is a slower vibration within our root than there is within here. And as we work our way up our chakras and activate them consciously, the bridge is at our heart, symbolically right in the center of the visible light spectrum. It's where we're able to access higher dimensions of consciousness. It's where we're able to access more harmony, right? We're able to find more harmony. Because how would I be able to play 1, 3, 5 and play that perfect chord if I wasn't able to activate above the fourth center? The fourth center being right there, being the F in this case. If I could only play, that doesn't sound harmonious. That does. So as we begin to activate our heart center, we can harmoniously move up into these higher energy centers, right? And so here I have 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz just being what we can hear in regards to the audio spectrum. The spectrum of audio that we can hear, all the way down, think a dog whistle where it's almost out of the audio range of some people's hearing. And then think about, I don't know what's an example. That's a super high pitched frequency. And then there's super low frequencies like, right? So it moves all the way down. That would be moving into lower vibrations. Now, the visible light spectrum has a much higher frequency than audio does. So the visible light spectrum has to vibrate at a much higher frequency because it doesn't have to move through the medium of space, right? It moves through air. Audio needs air to move through, but that's a whole other conversation. We are talking about how we sense, perceive, and measure reality based on energy, frequency, and vibration. And we know that all frequencies are alternate degrees of the one universal whole. And that's what this whole whiteboard is getting at. That's what all of this is getting to, is that the fact that these vibrations move up the visible light spectrum, they move into the ultraviolet spectrum, they move down into the audio spectrum, they move into our body and manifest in our chakras. All of these vibrations are simply different alternating degrees of the one universal consciousness, the one whole, right? So we here as human beings are experiencing the illusion of separation. We are through the lens of ego. So we grow, we become self-aware, we have this experience, this human experience, and begin to see ourselves as separate from the world. And we piece together the world based on our five senses. And our five senses are measuring, perceiving, and sensing reality based on these concepts, right? And some of them are easy for us to see. The visible light is what we can perceive. The audio is what we can perceive. And emotions are also on this scale, which is a whole other video, but we briefly got into it here, and how we can move up into more harmonious emotions, symbolized by the C major scale. So that's all I got for you, because I think that's a lot of information. So click subscribe, and I've got tons more content as I philosophize about the inner workings of our universe, because this makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm glad I can talk it out, and I'm grateful for you being here with me, learning with me, piecing together this universe, leading heart-centered lives. I've got tons more videos on consciousness, spiritual awakening, self-realization, and self-mastery, bringing the oneness back down into the planet Earth. So thank you. Watch that next video. We'll talk soon, because this is the information that matters. So you matter for listening to it. So go share this with a friend, because it might help. It might make their day. It might make their life even. So peace.